Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shop Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Thursday, December 14th, 2023. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my $19 Bank Shop best bet, as well as my all-access season pass in college basketball, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Thursday in college hoops. First up, we see the Citadel taking on Charleston. This one's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern start time. Now, when you look at both of these teams' records, Citadel at 6-4, Charleston at 5-4, you may think this would be a pretty close matchup, but when you look at the strength of schedule for these two teams and the wins that they actually have this year, I think there's a big difference between these two teams. And, the Citadel, they've won 6 of the last 7 games, which is great. However, in those 6 victories, 2 of those were against subdivision teams, and the other 4 were against teams ranked outside the top 270 in KenPom: Idaho State, NC Central, Charleston Southern, and NC A&T. When you look on the other side, Charleston, they played a really tough schedule this year, 82nd ranked in Division I, non-conference strength of schedule. They played neutral site games against Duquesne, Vermont, Wyoming. They played true road games at Kent State and FAU. They played a neutral site game against Liberty and won that game by 9 points. They played a home game against Iona. So all their 5 wins this year against Division I teams, and they played a much tougher schedule. I do think they are the much better team in this matchup as well. I don't love the Citadel on the road in this game. They haven't really fared too well on the road this season. And Charleston also plays at a really fast pace offensively. Probably going to give them a good amount of possessions in this ball game, enough chances for us to be able to cover this pretty big number at home. The Citadel defense ranked 262nd in adjusted defensive efficiency. They are a very good rebounding team, which is important against Charleston, who's also a good rebounding team. So the Cougars may not have a lot of second chance opportunities in this ball game, but I think they'll be fine enough offensively to win this game and cover the number in the end. So give me Charleston at home. I'll lay the points. Next up, we see Marquette taking on St. Thomas. This one's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on Fox Sports 1. Now, there's no doubt about it. Marquette, the much better team in this matchup on both ends of the court. Fundamentally, a big head coach advantage, and they're the home team in this ball game. They should be able to win this game and win it pretty comfortably. However, I don't love laying large numbers with Marquette, especially against a team in St. Thomas that I do think is better than its current record and a team that we can find value on this season. And, Marquette, we saw in their last game, they were giant favorites against Notre Dame. They were winning that game 52-24 at halftime, yet they still did not cover the number because they let their foot off the gas in the second half. We saw Notre Dame win the second half by a score of 35-26. So, Marquette, I worry about them taking their foot off the pedal in this game if they are up big at halftime or late in the second half. And St. Thomas has won 3 straight games. They have a solid offense, and I also think that their defense is better than what we see on paper in terms of they're 208th in adjusted defensive efficiency, but they're forcing some tough shots. They're forcing turnovers. They're a pretty good rebounding team, which Marquette is not a great rebounding team. So I think St. Thomas competes in this ballgame. I still think Marquette wins, like I said, and wins it comfortably by double digits, but this is just way too many points to be laying with a team that we've seen not put together 40-minute efforts when they're playing some weaker opponents. So give me St. Thomas plus the points in this one. Next up, we see Jacksonville State taking on Wisconsin. This one's also going to be 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on the Big Ten Network. Now, this is a spot where I will lay the points with the much better team here in Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's honestly better than its current record. I think this is a team to watch out for in the Big Ten this year. Coming off a loss to Arizona, but who hasn't lost to Arizona this season? The Wildcats, I believe they're still perfect against the number, and they're perfect, of course, straight up. And, it was an ugly game, 98-73, but it was a true road game for Wisconsin. They return home here. I think they're the much better team here on both ends of the court. Great rebounding team, which takes away one of the big advantages that Jacksonville State has usually over its opponents. Jacksonville State has not fared too well on the road this season. They played some road games, but they only have one true road victory. That was against UTSA, a team ranked outside the top 300 in KenPom. Their other road games, they lost by double digits to West Virginia, lost to North Alabama and Incarnate Word. Not great losses there. And, I think Wisconsin, their defense against a really weak Jacksonville State offense, should have a field day here. I just don't think the Gamecocks compete offensively enough to stay within this number. So give me Wisconsin here. I'll lay the points. Next up, we see Louisiana Monroe taking on Lamar. This one's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Now, Lamar has a gigantic rest advantage in this ball game. We saw Louisiana Monroe play on Tuesday, December 12th, against Sam Houston. Lamar also played Sam Houston in his last game, but that was on December 3rd, so over 10 days of rest for Lamar as they prepare for Louisiana Monroe. They've been able to prepare for him for over a week now, and I do think that Louisiana Monroe, while they played pretty well against Sam Houston, only lost that game by 1 point, covered the number as a dog in the end. I do think that this is an offense that's really tough to trust on the road, especially. They're 287th in adjusted offensive efficiency, but they're also one of the worst shooting teams in college basketball. They also turn the ball over a ton, which is not great against the Lamar team. It's top 100 in turnover percentage defensively. This is a winnable spot here for Lamar. They don't get a ton of those, especially at home and especially in non-conference play. And I think Lamar has a good shot here to put together a solid win in front of the home crowd. It's a really good three-point shooting team. Louisiana Monroe, I just don't think it can compete offensively. I don't love the Lamar defense, but like I said, it forces a lot of turnovers. So Louisiana Monroe, not a great shooting team, and they don't do a good job of taking care of the basketball. That could be a big problem here in this true road game with only 1 day off in between. It's a good spot for Lamar. I'm going to take Lamar here and lay the points. And the final game we're going to talk about for Thursday's card in college basketball, it's going to be Grambling and Drake. This one's also going to be 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on ESPN+. Now, we've talked about how a lot of times SWAC teams play really tough non-conference schedules, and sometimes we can find really good value with those teams because they're just catching way too many points. That has been the case for Grambling this year. They've played a tough schedule, but they're 1-6 against the number this season. Drake, it's been okay against the number, but they're 9-1 straight up. They've just been good in general, and I do think this is a good spot for them to put together a blowout victory at home. They just match up really well with Grambling. Drake, I think their defense is really underrated right now. It's ranked 93rd in adjusted defensive efficiency, but teams are just shooting really well against them. They're ranked 249th in effective field goal percentage. I don't think that's going to be the case for much longer. This is actually a really good defense. They're forcing tough shots. They're forcing turnovers. They're a good defensive rebounding team. Grambling, not a great offense, not a great defense. They've struggled to shoot the ball. They've struggled turning the ball over a ton. And like I said, that could be a problem with Drake forcing a ton of turnovers. Drake does a good job of taking care of the ball. Their offense is solid. Not a great offensive rebounding team, but Grambling's one of the worst defensive rebounding teams, so maybe this is a spot to get going in terms of those second chance looks. To me, this just looks like a one-sided game. I'm going to take Drake and lay the points as Grambling just hasn't been good against the number this year. And that's it. Those are the games for Thursday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.